Okay, the iPhone clock has struck 6:30, so I'll call the April meeting of the NRPC to order. Welcome everyone. Thank you for attending. We've got three substantive items to discuss. Emily Kloft will be addressing the project review process. We'll discuss the recent Act 181 position paper that was approved by the Executive Committee of NRPC, and we'll address the process for annual officer elections. Any adjustments to the agenda? Hearing none, I will go through the roll call by town as usual, starting with Grand Isle County Youth. Alberg Town.
Here.
I'm sorry, was somebody respond? Okay, I'll continue. Alberg Village, I assume is still vacant. Bakersfield.
Bill Irwin from Bakersfield.
And Linda McCall from Bakersfield.
Berkshire. Enosburg Falls. Someone from Enosburg Falls? No? Okay. Enosburg Town. Fairfax.
Barbara Murphy, and I do want you to know that I don't know if you sent it to Catherine, but the town manager had another meeting he had to be at, so he would like an excused absence, please.
Okay. Fairfield.
Tuck Footerber, Fairfield.
Fletcher.
Michelle Frenier.
Oh, sorry, Michelle. Lori Rupel.
Michelle Frenier.
Franklin.
Yvonne Dandran, Town of Franklin.
Georgia.
Kirk Waite, Georgia.
Grand Isle.
Howard DeMars, Grand Isle.
Highgate.
Jack Falke, Highgate.
Isle of Mott. Montgomery. North Hero.
Andy Alling, North Hero.
Richford. Sheldon. South Hero.
Bob Behrman.
And Peter Zamor. St. Albans City.
Chip Sawyer, City of St. Albans.
Elizabeth Nance.
St. Albans Town.
Jonathan Giroux. Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, no.
Go ahead, Marietta.
Marietta Shelton, St. Albans Town.
Jonathan Giroux, St. Albans Town.
Swanton Town.
Nick Brusso, Swanton Town.
Swanton Village.
Patty Bridge Valenta.
Damon Broderick, Swanton Village.
Okay, and who do we have for staff?
Dean Pierce.
Emily Klopp.
Sounds
And
good.
Catherine Dimitruk.
I will
Thank you.
note that I heard from Julia Cowan from Fairfield and Bob Bierman from Barclay Morris from Grand Isle. Sorry, Bob. And both of them had conflicts for this evening.
Okay. Next, excuse me.
Oh, so I just want to belatedly say that I'm here for Sheldon, Matt Stebbins.
Great, thank you. So next, opportunity for public comment. Is there anyone from the public who would like to make any comments?
Yes, Sandra Bruin will make a comment.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm making a comment about the ITW project and how it doesn't comply with the regional plan. Specifically, the this tower is not compatible with the scenic rural character of the Borderville hamlet and has a negative impact on the area's historic resources, such as this Borderville Seventh-day Adventist Church. Also, in the past, we have asked for a balloon test, and to this day, we have not had any partnership with the community so that we feel confident that we won't be able to see it from our properties. And we're requesting a balloon test as well.
Okay, thank you. I take it you're directing your request for a balloon test to the developer?
Yes.
Yes.
Or an independent aesthetic expert, but partnership with the community, because we need to be able to see what a 120-foot tower will look like. It's going to be 60 feet above tree line, and it's in a bucolic area of Vermont. And we have Chester A. Arthur Road there and the historic Seventh-day Adventist Church, and it would really spoil the area.
Another place you might contact is the Department of Public Service, who reviews these types of developments. Okay. And Emily, I take it that your committee has reviewed this project and is finished with its review?
Yes, the
Okay.
project review committee reviewed the project. You can find in the business report, and the board action tonight is to make a vote on whether to ratify the committee decision.
Okay.
Because it is of substantial regional impact, because it's located on the border of Enosburg and Bakersfield, within 1 mile of the town border.
Okay.
Peter, I don't know
Okay.
if you can see that someone else has their
Oh,
hand
I'm
up
sorry.
as
Yes.
well.
Pippa Fury, please go ahead.
Thank you. I'd like to echo Sandy. I do believe that the project review committee made a premature decision about accepting this project by industrial. We have not had a balloon test. We requested that the project review committee request a balloon test many meetings ago, and that did not happen. So in their discussions with the ITW industrial attorneys or whoever they discuss the project with, the balloon test never happened. And there are many neighbors who basically we would like, if you are going to accept the project review committee's recommendation, that at least you put in the letter that we need a balloon test, and that everyone in this community is involved in the balloon test. There has not been a balloon test done, and it's of significant impact. Number two, we need a non-industry funded assessment about whether this location and the scope of this project is actually going to be the solution to what they're seeking. The only assessment that has been done has been funded by industrial. So that, and then the third one is, why hasn't the EMTs from both Bakersfield and Enosburg communicated with DPS's task force, which it's the Technology Services Task Force, which seeks to minimize projects of this scope and size to seek the same solution that they look for. So that's all I have to say.
Okay, thank you. And AJ LaRosa, I see you have your hand up too.
Thank you. AJ LaRosa, MSK Attorneys here for the applicant ITW. I just want to remind the commission that this tower is in the same location as a previous application. There were 3 balloon floats for that prior application, floated at 140 feet. The commission's determination was that at 120 feet, there would be adequate coverage provided, and the 140-foot tower would be inadequate, would be excessive. This was upheld and relied on by the PUC. Those 3 balloon floats were conducted at 140 feet, and this tower is lower at 120 feet, which was consistent with the RPC's prior findings and determinations. The project review committee conducted a full and complete investigation. There has been an independent review previously done. The Department of Public Service is entitled to and did hire an independent consultant to look at the 140-foot tower. It found that there would be no significant impacts from it, and found it satisfactory, but that because the 120-foot tower would still achieve the coverage objectives, the PUC said, well, come back and basically try again at 120, which is what's occurring. So I do want to make it clear that there were 3 balloon floats. That is a standard practice which the PUC may ask for. And if they ask for it, the petitioner would have to do it. But at this point, we see no basis when there's been 3 already.
Okay, thank you. And
You're welcome, sir.
Ginger.
Sorry, Ginger Parent. I'm representing myself, and I am also Assistant Chief of the Bakersfield Fire Department First Response, here to show support for the tower that has been in discussion for many, many reasons, including lack of communications in rural Vermont and being able to access help. We've had several calls now where first response EMS help has been delayed by over 30 minutes for very serious patients and emergencies. At the last meeting we discussed the multiple attempts that Bakersfield Fire has tried to increase their communications and the amount of money that we have spent. We've tried many, many different avenues, both at the town and county level with other mutual aid departments. So just here to show support for the tower project.
Okay, thank you very much, Ginger.
Peter?
Yes.
I do not know how to raise my hand, so I'm speaking through. Chris Brune, got a house up next to the Seventh-day Church. I'm Sandra's husband. To AJ's point, yes, there were balloon tests done. I guess my comment on that would be, when this project is labeled and titled with public good, I just find it a little ironic that the public wasn't invited into that balloon test. I'm unaware of any of the locations that they looked at and spoke from were any private land. It was, I believe, only public spots. And so under quote unquote public good, we are once again asking that there be a balloon test conducted where there would be advance notice for neighbors and community to come and view for themselves. The board a couple of weeks ago had voted to bring it forward here today, and I'm unaware if any of those individuals ever have been up to the area or sat forth on the balloon test, because I think the devil is in the details. Yeah, there can be an independent study, but there's a lack, I guess, in my words, in my opinion, there's a lack of trust with ITW coming in and this being so invasive in our opinions to the area. So wanted to just kind of make some points to that. For me, where at one point this thing gets voted down at 120 because it doesn't meet the regional plan, 20 feet reduction is still 160 feet above tree line. It's still going to be massively impactful from a number of areas. And so before we put this thing forward and it stays in perpetuity and it's too late, I'm asking that maybe we consider slow down, take a couple more steps. I understand time is money. I understand money is money. But when folks are going to have to live with this in perpetuity, it's a big deal. The emergency thing that Ginger spoke about, that's real. Everybody wants that. Cell service, which it's my understanding at 120 feet, there's only going to be able to be one applicant available. That's real. People want it. And I'll just kind of finish on this. I believe that if we did the due diligence a little bit more, we could probably all have what we're looking for. ITW could probably have 140 feet somewhere and get additional cell providers. The EMT piece could be there. And then the neighbors and citizens and community could not have this thing be staring them in the face less than a half a mile away. So I just ask for consideration as you folks move forward and appreciate the work that you guys do because this is important.
Thank you very much. Victor Torito.
Yeah, how you doing? I'm Vic Torito. I actually have a property bordering where the tower is going, but that's not really the point here. The point here is I'm not against uh, enhancing the service to especially life safety and things like that that the fire department needs, ambulance, police, and stuff like that. The point that I'm trying to make here is I sent several letters out so far to the Vermont public safety, especially their radio technology task force that's out there evaluating towers, all sorts of other things to assist first responders and things like that, and to ensure that we're going in the right direction with this. And I'm going to agree with Chris here to slow it down a bit and at least look at that review. I understand there was contact made with them, and I think AJ or someone said that no significant impacts. Okay, well, that's great, but does it satisfy the conditions of enhancing the cell service while also making sure that the aesthetics remain intact where possible? And I'm just saying we need to slow it down and uh, have this committee actually go in there and do their own independent study to say, hey, yeah, this is great. We should do this. Or, hey, here's some alternatives. And that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you. AJ, I'm going to skip over you since you've spoken already, and Derek Jones. You're on mute, Derek. Okay. Well, I guess Derek is choosing not to speak. Thank you all very much for your comments. Obviously, it's an issue that is of significant concern to folks in the area. And I'm sure we'll be hearing a report from our project review committee, and we'll be discussing this. And we'll see where it goes. So thank you all very much. So that will conclude that part of it. Next is minutes of the March 2026 meeting. Is there a motion?
Hello?
Yes.
Sorry, Chair. I had a really difficult problem with my laptop trying to get unmuted. This is Derek Jones.
Okay, go ahead.
Sorry to interrupt your. So I just wanted to summarize a few of the thoughts from our concerned citizens of Bordeauxville and introduce some new ones. What I like to do initially is put some context on this in terms of important changes since the 2024 decision by the commission, 2022 decision on the 140/156 foot tower. Because it was incompatible with Bordeaux's scenic beauty and failed to present the least obtrusive possible system. That finding, in a manner unprecedented in Vermont, was upheld in 2024 by the Federal District Court in Burlington, and then by the Second Federal Court Circuit of Appeals in New York in 2025, one level below the U.S. Supreme Court. I wanted to suggest that those findings from the courts bear directly on your deliberations. For example, as we all said on both sides of this, the Vermont Federal District Court cast the challenge before you and us as the following, quote, Senator Patrick Leahy in 1988 stated that Vermonters do not wish to be left out of the telecommunications age, but also did not want Vermont, quote, turned into a gigantic pin cushion with 200-foot towers sticking out of every mountain. As a result of those rulings, we now have a noteworthy change. Industrial returns before you with 120/136 tower. Earlier this month, another change. The Project Review Committee judged that the new proposal may be justified on public safety grounds. Even if we dispute that analysis, we note other recent changes. For instance, fiber optic network internet came to Borderville in the last 2 years, increasing DSL speeds from 15 to 25 to 80 to 200. We welcome those positive changes, but contest and reject the Project Review Committee findings. And we urge you to do the same for several reasons. For example, the analysis is based on inaccuracies, errors, and oversight. A couple of examples, the impact on our historic village. Industrial's application grossly understates the impact of the tower on Borderville's village's historic district. Its 4-year-old application maintains that our district, our community, has 1 to 2 historical cultural assets that are noted as protected by the Vermont Division of Historic Preservation and by the Northwest Planning Committee Plan of Action for Cultural Preservation and Historic. In fact, the Vermont Division of Historic Preservation has identified nearly a dozen 19th century homes, historical structures, and sites in our hamlet. So we say that a new or revised analysis is due to remove the inaccuracies for your informed decision. I know my colleagues have talked about the aesthetic impact. I want to underline one example of inaccuracies there. For example, because of a lack of community consultation, no analysis was ever made of the visual impact and viewshed from the Civil War cemetery founded by the Seventh-day Adventist Church on the hill behind their place of worship. How was this possible? The omission and misanalysis must be corrected. The cemetery lies at the highest point within the half-mile zone of tower impact. And so we have urged you to have community engagement and a more accurate test. There are 3 other omissions and errors that I want to quickly underline. First, the committee accepted, without requesting letters of intent, Industrial's assertion that mobile service providers would gravitate to its radio tower. But both the PUC and more recently the Federal District Court critiqued or rejected that speculation as insufficient evidence. Secondly, despite the request from community and regional municipal planning standards, the committee failed to insist or discuss decommission plans for retiring any such tower. Third, in contrary to analysis of 4 years ago, the committee dismissed or failed to analyze less obtrusive sightings or technologies likely to satisfy our entire public interest in public safety. If regions like Lamoille County and towns like Stowe regularly rely on satellite technology for public safety needs, the Project Review Committee must review and analyze such evidence of those less intrusive technologies, experiences, and options. The burden of proof is not on we neighbors, it lies on Industrial to justify its project. Such failures, oversights, and omissions by the Project Review Committee analysis suffice for your commission to remand the file back for further analysis of these issues. We would urge and support such a recommendation, but finally, an overriding consideration and new development compels it. In 2024, the Vermont legislature adopted a statewide standard to ensure impartial and vigorous analysis on the merits for such deliberations as these and those by the committee earlier this month. Act 171 mandates a statewide code of ethics. It provides a uniform standard of impartiality by mandating those in perceived or actual conflicts of interest to recuse or remove themselves from municipal deliberations under consideration. The law explicitly applies to planning committee members and its subcommittees. We note for the public and legal record that at the close of the Project Review Committee's deliberations earlier this month, its chair declared a conflict of interest. The chair did so and then did not vote on the project proposal. We applaud and support that intent. but it is plainly insufficient to avoid contaminating deliberations, reflections, questions, and analysis during the meeting. The proper procedure would have been for a conflicted chair to acknowledge the conflict and recuse him or herself in such deliberations and in chairing the committee meeting. Even before voting, we know that chairs of committees exert substantial and significant influence on the nature of proceedings, on the thinking of fellow members, public participants, and even committee staff. Therefore, as a matter of public policy, procedure, and new public laws, a simple refusal from voting is insufficient to satisfy the ethical and legal commitment to impartiality in analysis of the merits of contested issues. For all these reasons, we urge and request that the Commission remand the file to the Project Review Committee, properly composed of a chair who has no conflict of interest, so that the committee may revisit and reconsider the issues we have raised. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I saw in the chat that there was someone else who wanted to speak. Is that the person now appearing on Ginger's screen? Or is it somebody else?
Yes.
There you go. There you go.
It is you?
Yes.
Okay.
Hi, Peter.
Okay, go
my name's
ahead.
Paul. Sorry, I just jumped in here and a little bit late. So to give everybody a little update and a little background on myself, I kind of share a few hats in this situation. I'm the chief of Bakersfield Fire Department, and I'm also the landowner in which this tower, the proposed tower, would reside on. I could talk at length on this, but I'm going to try and keep it a little bit short. In a nutshell.
Please do. Thank you.
Pardon?
I said, please do. Thank you.
You're welcome. In a nutshell, I mean, there's no two ways about the fact that communications in this area are laxed. It's in some instances, it's absolutely horrible from a wireless standpoint and from emergency communications standpoint, and it needs to be addressed. I mean, it's a life safety issue. It's not about aesthetics. It's not about view shed, any of that. I mean, we need to protect the people that are out there. The increased traffic on 108, we're seeing that, every year it gets worse and worse, thicker and thicker. I mean, literally, when it comes down to every minute counts, communications come into play on that from a wireless standpoint, from an emergency response standpoint, from radio communications. We need it. We have to have it. I mean, that's the nuts and bolts of it. I mean, this particular site where this tower is a site that it's land that's not used. A lot of the view from this tower is going to be from my land. And that's that. Everything down low is land that I own. I wouldn't promote this project if I knew it was going to hurt any citizen around in any way, shape, or form. And that's not the case with this. And I would like to point out some of the opposition on this tower. They're not residents of this area. They're second homes. I know I'm not going to say any names, but they're not here full time. I'm here full time. I see this full time from a landowner, from a resident, a lifelong resident, and also from an emergency response standpoint. It's communications. Unfortunately, yeah, we need a tower, and this is not a toy. This isn't. It's a tool. And as technology evolves, it's something that we need to work with. And it's not going to just benefit Enosburg. It's going to go into Bakersfield, and even further at times. If there's mutual aid calls, sometimes our communications are laxed. Sometimes there's times where, for example, if we're bringing in HealthNet, they don't have communications to the hospital, to Burlington, and the first thing they ask for is a cell phone. We can't provide that on certain locations. And it needs to be addressed. And without this tower, nothing's going to move forward. It's really not. For example, here's the perfect example. And I live 5.5 miles from the Bakersfield Fire Station. I cannot talk from a radio from my house to Bakersfield due to the geographic location of this area. That's kind of a problem at times, We're all volunteers, so we're all at about our daily job. And when a call goes out, getting on the radio, talking to one another, even prior to the call to set up a game plan, is instrumental. You know, if it's a horrific accident and I can pool resources first from my house as I leave, you know, that could make the difference in someone's life. And this tower would do that. So that's all I got. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much. I think we're going to close the public portion. We've heard a number of comments here. We thank you for those, and I think we're going to move on now. We're going to go now to considering the minutes of the March 2026 meeting. Is there a motion concerning those minutes?
Make the motion, it's Elizabeth.
Elizabeth?
second.
Okay. Any discussion on the minutes?
Of course.
Go ahead.
Sorry. It's a very simple one. The very first page, I think it's line 16. It's the first line of actual minutes. It refers to a foot making a comment, but we had Amber and Alice. So I think for clarity, either spell out Amber or Alice or AM or AL, just to clarify which a foot commented.
Thank you, Elizabeth. Any other comments? Yeah. Okay, I haven't heard any other comments. Will the movant and seconder agree to the change that Elizabeth suggested?
Well, I was the motioner, so
Oh, you were the
approve
motioner,
that
so
motion.
okay. Okay.
I agree.
Okay. Hearing no other discussion, all those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? The motion carries. So next we will go into the commission reports. And
Before you
Yep.
right before you jump in, I just wanted to let you know that Jack Pelkey sent me a note to let me know he and Anna Comiskey from Highgate both arrived after attendance. So
Okay, great. Thank you.
Highgate is fully represented too.
Great. So the first commission report is an action item by the project review committee, and Bill, that's for you, I guess.
Yes, thanks. So if you look in the package of material sent out tonight, it's on page 11 of 26. There are the 4 projects that we wanted to share with you tonight. I'll let you read projects 1, 3, and the staff review on your own. They were relatively simple. As you've heard tonight, there was a lot of community interest in project number 2, the section 248A industrial tower and wireless LLC petition for a structure for potential telecommunications, a tower at 120 foot at Borderville Road in Enosburg, Vermont. This was a project of a number of years in the making. You heard some of the content of what occurred in those years in the comments from members of the public. And we had multiple meetings of the Regional Planning Commission to discuss it, first at its original petition, which was for 160 feet, and then again after ruling by the Public Utilities Commission at a reduced tower height of 120 feet. And I think as one of our members placed it when making a motion on this, it was a very difficult decision. It's very difficult in beautiful rural Vermont, where we cherish our views, to have something industrial arise in that rural setting. And our Regional Planning Commission has done a great deal to try to not stifle that kind of development, especially when there are, in the area of telecommunications, internet and wireless telephone, great deal of safety issues as well as commercial abilities for people to have home businesses, etc. And so the Project Review Committee identified that this project would be of substantial regional impact. That impact is somewhat mixed. First, it has a substantial regional impact in that it, as described earlier, affects two different communities, Bakersfield and Vermont, and Enosburg, and also that it affects public health and safety relative to two towns, both of whom came forward and spoke in favor of the project as amended to be at a shorter height. And it was then voted on by the committee. I abstained from voting because I thought it would be appropriate at that time, although I had been a part of all of the deliberations for the past several years on this project, hearing literally many dozens of people speak on this project, giving every single individual an opportunity to be heard and be heard completely and even multiple times. And so I hope that the commission may evaluate this as a thorough job by your committee. And because it is of substantial regional impact, it needs to be voted on by the full commission. And I would make a motion today that that vote be taken here tonight.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, discussion?
I would have a question, Peter, if I might. This is Barbara.
Sure.
I just would ask if by any chance any of the people who spoke to us in the public comment section were new to the conversation, or if these were comments that the commission had heard, the committee had heard.
So I guess I'll answer that if that pleases the chair.
Sure.
Yes, I think all of the individuals who spoke tonight did speak at one or more of our meetings related to this project.
And certainly the issues they raised were ones that you all did consider and give attention to.
Yes, very serious attention.
Thank you.
Damon?
So just a quick question. I'm reading here that there's already a tower there that's 140 feet. Is that correct? Or am I reading the wrong?
No, there was a previous proposal for 140 foot.
Okay.
That was denied a certificate of public good.
And that's the 120 feet now. Okay.
Yes, and this is a new proposal for 120 foot in the same location.
Thank you.
Can I make a comment, please?
Hold on, Kirk's got his hand up. Go ahead, Kirk.
I'm sorry, I will lower my hand. I had the same comments as Barbara had.
Okay.
And same basic question. I wanted to make sure all of this information had been heard before and considered as part of the overall information.
Okay, who else said they wanted to make a comment?
Hi, this is Dr. Chuck Federber up in Fairfield.
Oh, yes, go ahead, Chuck.
I'd like to make a comment to this because as a healthcare provider in the town of Fairfield I exist in, there is no cell service. And I have AT&T. I've tried multiple things. From an emergency standpoint, I fully understand the reasoning behind this. I understand people's objections to seeing a tower, but I think we have to consider, especially during COVID, when we had such a adverse situation and not having the ability to communicate. And I fully understand the volunteers who provide this service for fire and emergency services. This is instrumental. Minutes mean lives, and I think it's important that we have to take this in consideration because the loss of someone's life because we just don't have the ability to communicate is, to me, is irresponsible. And I think that that's what I want to make sure that people hear and understand. And I think this has been deliberated. I know Bill very well, and I know he's a very conscientious person, and I know the things that he deals with that are even greater than this. It's important to have communication. If we don't have it, then someone's life's going to be lost.
Thank you, Chuck. Other comments from commission members?
Peter, I
Go
just have a
ahead,
quick
Howard.
comment. as- technically speaking, the gentleman that spoke about the conflict of interest, in a way, he's correct about probably, in the real world, maybe Bill should have recused himself entirely from the proceedings. However, I want people to know that in no way, shape, or form did Bill Irwin at all influence anything to do with this. He gave this the same due diligence that he does to every project that we review, asks tough questions, and I don't feel the conflict of interest argument has any bearing upon this whatsoever.
Thank you,
I was
Howard.
there, and I'd like to second that. It was done in a very fair manner. Everyone is allowed to speak their mind, and there was no leading in any direction.
None.
And certainly Bill can abstain from voting on tonight on the issue. Okay, other comments or questions from commission members?
There is
Peter,
a
if I-
question in the chat. I'm sorry, I didn't raise my hand. It's Barbara again. There was
Go
a
ahead.
question in the chat about what would prevent them from raising the tower once they get permission to put this one up. So I think that could just be addressed to put someone's mind at peace.
Yeah, any additional equipment or changes to the tower would require, beyond what's permitted, would require the applicant or whoever's making the changes, for example, a co-located equipment, to go back and do a new request for certificate of public good.
I think we have an example of that on tonight's agenda, but I just wanted that person not to feel ignored that their question was answered. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Barbara. Any
Peter,
other? Yes.
Can I just add one thing? First of all, actually two quick things. One, just to clarify that Bill neither has a financial interest nor is he an applicant or a landowner in any of his questions. So just in case people didn't know that, I just wanted to make that clear. And also, as was made clear by a very recent Public Utility Commission, the vote of this board is advisory to the Public Utility Commission. It's this board's opinion about whether this project conforms to the regional plan, and the Public Utilities Commission will make their own determination about that same question. You as a board take the vote to help to encourage the Public Utility Commission to see it your way, but they are fully within their ability to make their own, and they are required, in fact, to make their own independent determination before about whether in the process of issuing the or not issuing the permit.
Thank you, Catherine. Any other comments?
Peter, it's Yvonne.
Yes, Yvonne.
Being on this committee when we discussed this and had this meeting, I have to mention that it was a really difficult decision to make. We heard everyone multiple times. We considered everything. We went over this quite diligently, and I think that the board made the best possible decision with what we had for information. A lot of time was spent on this, and I just want to reiterate what Bill said. It wasn't an easy decision to make, but I think we did the best one for the better of the public. I guess that's it.
Thank you, Yvonne. Chip?
Yeah, I was actually just reading, looking at the project description and reading our conflict of interest policy. And since I work for the city of St. Albans and St. Albans Dispatch seems to be involved in this tower, I just want to note my recusal from these proceedings. Thanks.
Any other comments?
Peter, I'm sorry, I cannot find the raise your hand function.
Go ahead.
So if we vote, we are voting that it conforms to the regional plan. That I'm just trying to understand what we would be voting, because normally these are not contentious.
Emily?
Yes, correct. Yeah, it would be ratifying the committee's decision that it conforms to the regional plan, which would then result in us sending a letter with that recommendation and belief that that's our interpretation of the conformance to the regional plan to the Public Utilities Commission to take into account.
it has substantial impact too.
Yes.
Is the second
Yeah.
part. Those are the two things that we're that's our lens.
Yeah, so that would get sent to the Public Utilities Commission as part of their process for determining if the facility receives a certificate of public good.
Thank you.
Any other comments?
Just to clarify, Peter, this is Bill, the reason it goes to the board is the latter of the two, that it is of substantial regional impact.
Yeah. Okay, I think we're ready for a motion. Does anyone want to make a motion?
Actually, I think we were in discussion of the motion that was
Oh,
made.
that's right. Okay, sounds good. Sorry about that. So we're through. Can somebody restate the motion again?
Yeah, as the person who made the motion, I would move that the findings of the project review committee for the section 248A Industrial Tower and Wireless LLC tower at Borderville Road in Enosburg, Vermont, be found of substantial regional impact, but yet in conformance with the regional plan.
Thank you. Okay, all those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed?
I'm sorry, was there a second?
I was restating the motion. There had previously been a second.
Okay, just checking. Thank you. Sorry.
Opposed? Recused?
This is Lori. I'm going to abstain.
Yeah, and others are abstaining too.
Yes,
Chip,
I will
heard.
abstain.
Bill and Chip. Anyone else abstain?
Jonathan's going to abstain just to be not being aware of the whole project, just coming on as a commission member.
Okay, the motion carries. Thank you all. That was obviously not the usual type of discussion we have at these meetings, but it was good to hear from the public on this and to understand the basis of the committee's decision. So next we will go to commission reports, starting with finance and operations. Kirk?
We will be meeting in May to discuss next year's budget.
Okay, personnel, Bob?
Personnel did not meet, but as chair, I did actually meet with every member of the staff to kind of get a yearly update of how things are going.
Thank you, Bob. Executive committee did meet. Catherine provided a legislative update. We addressed a position on Act 181, which we will be discussing later, and we discussed upcoming schedule of meetings. Transportation Advisory Committee, I guess Barclay's not here. Is anyone else who can address that? Okay, then we'll go on to Brownfields. Chip?
Yeah, we did not meet since the last meeting.
Plan and policy, Lori?
We did meet on April 8th. I don't know if our materials still say that we didn't, but we did. We heard from Karen Bates from the ANR DEC about the Missisquoi Tactical Basin Plan. She talked about, she's a watershed, coordinator, and she was talking about stream management and landscape stewardship and looking for any comments that we might have. We also reviewed a letter. We were asked to give input, or the NRPC is asked to give input on the Vermont Conservation Plan, Act 59, 30 by 30, 50 by 50. And we reviewed the letter that had been prepared, made a couple of minor changes, and agreed to have that sent out.
Thank
That's
you,
it.
Lori. Vermont Economic Progress Council, Barbara?
Nothing to report. Meeting was canceled.
Rural Community Transit, Catherine?
I attended a board meeting. It was a full day retreat, and it was mostly spent on future vision for the organization. So nothing really substantial to report.
Healthy Roots, Marietta?
We didn't meet, but Peter Jenkins is sending emails between our meetings, and he sent one today that said that the Northwest Vermont grown maps have been sent to be printed and hope to be out soon. They have been continuing to distribute potatoes and donated eggs and cream cheese in our area, and they're interviewing a candidate for food access and gleaning coordinator position.
Thank you. Northwest Vermont Regional Foundation, Kirk.
Nothing to report.
And staff, any reports from the staff? Okay, next item on the agenda is Act 250 and Section 248 project review process. Emily.
Great, yes, and unbelievably, this was not planned. Just happened to happen at the same time. I've got a presentation if I can find it. Here it is.
While Emily's queuing up her presentation, just as a quick context for those who haven't read the bylaws in a long time, the Project Review Committee is one of 4 standing committees set up in the bylaws. The other ones are Personnel, Plan and Policy, and Finance. And this Project Review Committee is given certain tasks in the bylaws related to Act 250 and Section 248, which Emily is going to talk about in more detail now.
Great. Yeah, so the Project Review Committee, as Catherine noted, is one of the standing committees of the Commission, and it consists of Commission members. It has the essential function to review development proposals from 3 state review processes. The first is Act 250, which is land development that meets certain jurisdictional triggers. This depends on a number of things, including whether the community has zoning or subdivision regulations, as well as a number of temporary exemptions and proposed permanent exemptions for through the Tier 1A and 1B, but broadly includes commercial operations on larger lots, larger residential developments or subdivisions, and resource extraction operations like gravel and stone, and also amendments to those lots where Act 250 jurisdiction was previously applied. There's also Section 248, which covers electricity generation, transmission, and storage facilities. So that includes transmission lines, all sorts of renewable energy generation projects, and also battery and other electrical storage facilities. And then also, as we've heard tonight, the 248A, which governs telecommunications facilities, so radio and cellular towers. So for each project that the committee reviews,
Emily, your slideshow is not moving forward on my screen. I don't know if it is for others.
Okay.
There we go. We can see your notes. If you don't care about that, that's fine.
I don't care about that.
Okay.
It's weird. I think because I'm attached to the screen, so it's like messing everything up. Sorry that you're getting my notes view. So for each project, the committee considers 2 questions. And those are the 2 questions that you see with the checkboxes on your business report. And so the first is, does the project conform to the regional plan? So that's the committee looking at the goals and policies of the adopted regional plan. So when we update the regional plan, like we did recently, I go through on the review sheets that we provide and make sure that all of those goals and policies are updated. And then that second piece, does the project have the substantial regional impact? That determines a couple things, but especially whether the board votes on all of the project. And substantial regional impact is defined in Appendix 1 of the regional plan. And it depends on the type of project, but for example, there's different triggers for number of housing units depending on the project's location, number of employees for commercial purposes, and also other standards that really relate to, does the project impact multiple communities in the region? Is it of a size that it's going to have a significant impact on multiple areas, or a significant impact on the overall regional economy, traffic flows, things like that. So the role and level of impact that that committee's determination of conformance has depends on the process. So for the Act 250 process, one of the criteria for Act 250 approval is that the project must meet the regional plan. So provided the regional plan has a policy that is clear and mandatory, so it uses like shall and must language versus should or would be nice to or look into, then the project must meet the regional plan policy. And one of the other roles of the determination of substantial regional impact is that if there happens to be a disagreement between a town plan policy and a regional plan policy, the regional plan policy holds where there is a substantial regional impact. That doesn't happen all that often, but does happen occasionally. So in section 248, those are the energy generation, transmission, and storage projects. The commission gives substantial deference to the land conservation measures and specific policies of the regional plan for regions that have an approved enhanced energy plan. So actually, for example, tonight we had our hearing with Department of Public Service in our effort to get enhanced energy plan status for our newly adopted regional plan. That's a process that we've gone through now 3 times starting in 2017. And then it gives due consideration to the recommendations of the Regional Planning Commission as it relates to those standards. So that was that piece that Catherine was highlighting earlier. The Public Utility Commission actually does their own analysis of the standards and whether they meet that definition of a land conservation measure. And 248A is similar in that substantial deference is given to the plan of the Regional Planning Commission, in this case, just the regular plan, not related to the Enhanced Energy Plan, and due consideration to the recommendation of the Regional Planning Commission, with this additional component of unless there is good cause to find otherwise, which is defined in statute as essentially an overwhelming case for the public good. And then what is the role of the board? As you see, with each month, you review all of the project review committee decisions via the business reports that are included in your packet. Those give a summary of the project, the location, and any findings on whether it's in conformance and whether it's of substantial regional impact. And then the committee also votes to ratify those decisions that have substantial regional impact, regardless of whether or not they are determined to have conformed to the regional plan or not. And this is based on the project review procedures that are adopted by the full board. That's my brief presentation. Happy to answer any questions that the commission might have.
Yes, Emily, I have one, which is, have you ever gotten any feedback from either the Act 250 commissions or the Department of Public Service on how they view our role and how we've done in these various recommendations?
I don't know if I've received direct feedback per se. We did recently have a decision that spoke specifically to the due consideration to our recommendations and the substantial deference to plan goals and policies. That was sort of clarifying some of how the Public Utility Commission views that law, which I think was in line with what we previously had viewed. And we've also, in previous projects, received requests from the Public Utility Commission to be as clear as possible in our comment letters, which is something that I try to make sure that we're being as clear as possible and navigating that process, which can be, yeah.
Other questions or comments? I'm not seeing everyone, so okay, Bill.
Yeah, thanks for recognizing me, Peter. I just wanted to share that I've been involved in the project review committee since I started many years ago here with the Northwest Regional Planning Commission, and I've sincerely and deeply appreciated the help of our staff. As you can see here, it's a fairly technical evaluation of the project. And thankfully, many years ago, we developed this kind of score sheet, evaluation record that allows us to have the staff give a complete review of all of the really critical elements of statute and regulation. And it's been very helpful to have people like Emily and others before her help this committee, and I want to thank them at this point in time.
Absolutely. Especially when you go through the type of contentious review that you just went through.
And there have been many.
Other comments? This is obviously a very critical aspect of the commission's business, and it's really gratifying to know how detailed the analysis is and how thorough it is. Thank you very much, Emily. Okay, the next item on the agenda is Act 181 position. As you know, there's been considerable controversy recently relating to Act 181, primarily relating to new Act 250 jurisdiction for roads over 800 feet and also environmentally sensitive areas, that is Tier 3. The NRPCs received letters from 6 member towns protesting these provisions, and as a result, Catherine and I decided to propose that NRPC take a position on these issues. Although I understand that the commission hasn't typically taken position on these types of issues, it seemed appropriate here given the level of concern expressed. We also decided that we would put it before the executive committee for adoption due to the time-sensitive nature of the discussions that were happening at the same time in the legislature. And the executive committee discussed and approved the position paper at its April 21st meeting that appears on page 25 and 6 of your board packet. This agenda item is really to give the commission and commissioners an opportunity to comment on the position paper, on the issue generally, and whether there should be any further action on the part of the commission. So with that, I'll open it up for anyone who has, I should ask Catherine, do you have anything you want to add to that, Catherine?
I'll just give a status report that the House Environment Committee was scheduled to vote out today the latest draft of the bill that includes the full repeal of the road rule and the Tier 3 and extend some of the interim benefits for another couple of years. They got held up on a other issue that's not related to any of those, and I think now they'll vote it out tomorrow morning instead.
Thank you. Any thoughts, reactions, comments on the issue or the position paper that the executive committee adopted? Chuck.
I'm just curious. I know the town of Fairfield and the other towns that sent those letters to you. What has as the select boards, been their response back to the letter you guys have proposed this for this evening?
So in the case of Fairfield, I happened to be at a select board meeting, so I was able to talk to the select board. So that was great. The other towns, when they sent the letter, I acknowledged the letter and let them know that we have heard similar concerns at our meetings. And then with the executive committee position last week, I did send that to all of the select board chairs and the municipal managers and administrators. So they did receive that as well.
Matthew.
Oh, hi. Just wanted to let all the other commissioners be aware that the town of Sheldon has not yet issued a letter, but we have drafted, and I'm just following up with so we took a motion at a recent select board meeting to issue a very similar a letter that along the lines that the other towns have have issued, and we will be sending that out as soon as I get confirmation from all the select board members that they're in agreement on the exact wording. So I just wanted to make everyone aware of that as well.
Others? Anyone else have comments? Okay, I will say that that was quite a dynamic between the general population and the legislature, and certainly would be a case study in a political science course as to what's happened over the last month or so. It's great to live in Vermont. Okay.
Yeah, and then another follow-up to Chuck's question, it is nice to live in Vermont because, since I was copied on all the letters that the town sent, that they also sent to legislators, where I sent our letter to legislators as well. It was really encouraging to see the number of legislators who actually responded and acknowledged the letter, and some offered their own opinions and thoughts, but I'm not sure you always get that in other places, so that's good.
That's for sure. All right, the final substantive item is the nominating committee and election process. Our bylaws provide that we hold elections at the annual meeting in June for certain officers. That includes the commission chair, the vice chair, the secretary, the treasurer, the chairs of the 4 standing committees, which are finance and operations, personnel, plan and policy, and project review, and the at-large member of the executive committee. The process includes appointment of a 5-member nominating committee, which will prepare a slate of candidates and for consideration in an upcoming meeting. So we are looking for volunteers to serve on the nominating committee, and anyone who wants to serve can either raise their hand here tonight or make your interest known to Catherine after the meeting. And if we don't get 5 members, I'm sure we'll be going around with a hook to find the stragglers to be able to put on the committee. So that's really for your information, and a request that those who would like to do so serve on the nominating committee. Any thoughts or questions on that? Catherine, do you want to add anything? I should have said.
You did a great job. I have nothing to add.
Okay.
Oh,
You can
I
count
will
me in.
add. The nominating committee is easy, and you can talk about that, Yvonne. It's an easy add.
Yvonne hit it out of the park last year.
You can count me in for as one.
There you go. Thank you. Okay. Again, please express your interest to Catherine if you are so interested. And we'll be getting up a nominating committee to propose a slate to be acted on at our June annual meeting. So that brings us down to commissioner announcements. Anyone having a commissioner announcement? Well, this is a first. Hearing none, motion to adjourn?
I'll make that motion.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Have a good evening.
Good night, everybody.
All right.
Thank you all.
Bye-bye.
Everyone.